Rolling.
Okay.
3, 2.
Welcome. Today we are interviewing the cast and crew of Dirty Air the movie. Today I have David Gleason, the writer, producer, director of Dirty Air. So I'm sure the audience is wondering, why Dirty Air? So David, tell us a little bit about that.
Right. Dirty air. Dirty air is a racer's term. It's an aerodynamic term for air turbulence.
Okay.
So like if you have a car behind another car and they're getting ready to pass them and take a wrong angle and they catch some bad air, they call it dirty air, and you can flip the car. And you do that at 200 miles an hour, it's pretty serious, right? So the title is Dirty Air because our lead character, Jon Bennet, he's in a race and that's how he crashes his car. And so that's the term, but it's also, of course, symbolic of his life. And there's a lot of turbulence in his life. So that's the title of the movie.
So Dirty Air, tell me a little bit about it.
Dirty Air is a story about Jon Bennet, who is a veteran from the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. He comes back to Vegas, and he was a potential race car driver, right? So after he and his unit get attacked in Iraq, he finds himself back in Las Vegas with his friends from the unit, and he has this chance to be a race car star again, right? Mm-hmm. So he gets into a race, and he actually has a life-threatening crash in the race, based on a real incident that happened at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway here. And while he's there, recovering over a 24-hour period, some people come in from a satanic cult that are associated, who have infiltrated the legal system in Las Vegas, and they try to make it look like he was addicted to drugs before he got in the car. So he gets railroaded through the system, right? And while he's railroaded through the system, he ends up at a job at a Christian radio station serving Celebrate Recovery groups, right?
What was your inspiration, David? How did you get to the point of writing?
Well, in reference to just this story, because there's an original story before this that's an angelic warfare feature film, not unlike The Avengers, only from a biblical perspective, okay? But this story, which was the prequel to the original concept of one-way ticket, because the concept is that everybody has a ticket when their time is up. When your time is up, you get your ticket. And Jon Bennet gets his ticket.
And that makes me want to ask about the writing process. Was that an emotional time for you? And not, you can get as deep and emotional as you want, but how did that translate into the script?
Well, I did have, I didn't have, but my wife and I had our first child of my second marriage during this process. It was extremely stressful just from that standpoint, right? But let alone, we had a lot of work and a lot of financing set up that just fell through. So it did get pretty difficult at times, but this did inspire me. This is in the difficulty of the dark places. God finds a way with what he's given you for your vision to inspire you, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
So it really just flowed from the computer, actually. Everything fell into place just beautifully. Even while I was going through a difficult time. So it was actually, in a strange sense, inspirational.
Yeah.
Right.
So I guess that is your own angelic warfare while writing.
Yes, it was. Oh, every day, absolutely. Yeah, angelic warfare. People, there's a lot of science fiction stuff out there, and I always tell my friends and people who know me, the Bible has greater stories than what we've made up over the past decades, actually.
Yeah.
This concept was created back in the 80s, and there's an old movie, this is going to date me a little bit, by the name of Highlander, right?
Okay.
And Highlander is very similar in this, it's in the same genre. Dirty Air is in the same genre as Highlander. only it's got some biblical aspects to it that are angelic and demonic, right? And there is the whole spiritual warfare of between God and Lucifer, right? So it's got a lot of action. It's got really cool special effects. It's got a lot of drama, but the bottom line is it's got great messages for people and their families.
That's awesome. Yeah. And getting to see some of those moments, I know you had mentioned that the car crash scene is based on real events.
Sure.
So having those correlations to things that have happened, whether you're in Las Vegas or something else, just brings the audience in a little bit more.
Absolutely. And yeah, in our questioning a little bit before to get to know each other here more, Celine, all the characters are based on real people I know. Everybody in both films, I really have about 5 episodes we can start with right now to roll out the series. There's a survey done years back on what was the most influential thing in people's lives. School, government, church, they were all last compared to media.
Yeah.
So media is the platform, that's where it's at, right?
Okay.
But the challenge is to do it entertainingly well. And if you got great messages, yes, that's wonderful and that's what our goal is. But it's got to be good, right? It's got to rock. If it doesn't, it's not going to go anywhere. Mm-hmm. But everybody in there is based on people that I've dealt with my entire life and myself as well, right? So art literally imitates life, right?
Absolutely.
So yeah, we all relate to those things and those struggles. So hopefully this movie will inspire people to do that, and the series will inspire people. It's going to be cool.
I found it interesting that you have a lot of the characters in real life playing what they do as their career. So was there any intention behind that?
Every producer, every writer. Don't let anybody fool you. They all have a way of looking at others and studying them.
What is the goal of sharing this message through film?
Well, film and television and now the web is audio visual is the most powerful form of communication on the planet, right?
Of course.
So with that in mind, I wanted to reach people with hope. So many people now, especially recovering through the COVID times, seem to have lost a lot of hope. And that's easy to see in government, in schools, right?
Yeah.
But if you talk to people individually, there's a lot of hope.
Awesome. Thank you, David.
My pleasure.
All right, so if you want to hear more about Dirty Air, go to dirtyairmovie.com or go to one of our social media platforms, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and follow us, see what we're growing and developing here. And last but not least, go to Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. We need you. Let's do this.
Thank you. See you there.